Yeah, there's Jerry, sort of. That guy had a storied career in firearms. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to AmmoMart.com. As promised, we're going to show some footage that Shaun took at the NRA convention. It was held at the Georgia World Congress Center, and as we roll through, we're going to try to sort of narrate some of the highlights of Shaun's trip. So, off we go. So, Shaun, based on general area, of course, this is in Atlanta. I've never been. So is this anywhere close to like downtown? How was it to park?
So I took an Uber from the airport. I didn't have to park.
Sweet.
But it did seem like there was a lot of parking garages attached to hotels and their own separate area.
I've heard horror stories about Atlanta traffic. It's supposed to be some of the worst in the country, but
it was kind of terrible, kind of
nice,
frightening taking an Uber.
Nice. So this is in close proximity to the Olympic Centennial Park, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
You didn't blow up any trash cans, did you?
Not this time.
This looks like the entry point or, like the gift shop. Seems to be a well-attended event. Was that so?
Oh, yeah. It's packed every day of the event. This is the first day that I got there.
Like can't walk down the aisles packed and like annoyingly packed?
Saturdays are the busiest day. Friday is not as bad.
So, general admission tickets, or did you have to like pre-register online? How did that work?
So, if you're an NRA member, you get in for free. If
wow.
you're not, this is, I believe, the first year they offered it. You could pay $10 to get the ticket to get in for non-members.
Oh, that's very affordable.
Yeah, this was right after 9 o'clock, which is when the floor opens. So normally at that 9 o'clock mark, that place is just elbow to elbow people waiting to get in there. And
if you could you put a rough estimate on roughly how many vendors were there? You had to take a stab at it?
Hundreds, couple hundred.
Wow.
I had to guess.
Wow, all the major players, in other words, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think people realize when companies commit to going to a show like this, like NRA or SHOT Show or some of the other larger sporting goods shows, how expensive the booth space and the entry fee is for that. I mean, at SHOT Show, you'd be not unheard of to spend $50,000 to go exhibit at SHOT Show. Looks like we're doing the national anthem, of course. Question for you, Shaun. Was it a super patriotic event? Was it kind of like themed that way, or was it more pushing NRA agenda, NRA sort of mission statement, that kind of thing?
It was more of a patriotic event. It's not shoving NRA down your throat at the event.
Mm-hmm.
They do have different seminars and things going on, not inside this expo area, but in different rooms itself.
Sure. Well, the NRA's had some struggles. Obviously those are well publicized, and I'm not going to take one side or the other. Still a major player, of course, in 2A rights and those kind of things. But, like I said, they have had their struggles, and I'd be kind of curious to see what their theme was going into this, if it was more to gain membership or it was truly to build a stronger gun community.
Well, I think with that, paying that $10 to not be a member, you can tell there was that struggle of not having that full membership and allowing people that aren't members to come in to maybe gain that membership.
Sure. So, Shaun, here we are at the Barrett booth. What do they got going on? Anything new and innovating?
Just a lot of their 50 cal stuff.
Of course. I mean, world famous, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I went to look at. It's always something fun to look at, stuff that not a lot of people will be able to own in their lifetime.
Sure.
Let alone see.
Barrett a bit is a company that is a music group or a musical act that hits big on their first album. And now what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they've really been doing this for so long. Everything kind of looks the same.
Like a one-trick pony.
You got it. Yeah. Which isn't to bash Barrett. I'm just saying that it is what it is. So, in general mood, and this isn't just reflective of Barrett, a lot of times you go to these shows, the vendors are pretty good at picking out people that they look like they could secure a big contract from. Well, I mean, once that was established, were they friendly, unfriendly? Was it kind of like, entertain you and move on?
Most booths would entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless they really knew that they were going to be able to gain something from your interaction, they would just kind of talk to you about the guns, or they would just leave you alone.
Right, perfect. I prefer that. I would rather kind of shop in peace, if I'm going to look at something. If I have a question, I'll ask, but,
Now, a lot of the first booths I went to were some of my favorite booths, like the higher end stuff, Cabot 1911s.
Oh, sure.
Some of the best higher end ones
out
there.
Works of art. Beautiful.
Yes. Another higher end 1911 company, Nighthawk.
You ever own one?
No, I've held them multiple times at these events.
Mm-hmm. You're a lot more into 1911s than I am, because being a lefty, they kind of, they have issues for me.
Right.
You look at Cabot, you look at Nighthawk. What's the hook? I mean, what makes one more expensive or better than the other one? It's just all perception.
It's perception, but it's also feel, fit, and finish.
Gotcha.
You take that compared to
it's like lower dollar guns.
An entry level Rock Island.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell the different fit and finish.
Oh, sure.
And just the feel in the checkering
mm-hmm.
until you're able to
cost of manufacture.
Yeah, until you're able to hold them both, you won't know the difference. You can't judge that difference. You just think it's crazy to spend that kind of money.
Sure. Look at that. That thing's sparkly like a holiday.
Yeah, this company seems like they take everyday firearms.
Sure.
And bling them out. As you say, ghetto fabulous.
Yeah. Bedazzle them.
Yeah.
Though, it's kind of like your lever action right there. Beautiful firearms, if that's your thing, I'm just more of a utilitarian guy, I guess.
Some different Browning shotguns. That was a pretty busy booth.
Oh, I imagine. I mean, that's a huge, sport.
Yep.
And people, I mean, you can get into it when you're young, do it your whole life. Oh, sure. Interesting looking handguns from CAR, of course, Auto Ordnance. I wonder what the rationale is behind a ghetto fabulous Desert Eagle.
It's somebody's cup
status
of tea.
Symbol.
Yeah, it's somebody's cup of tea. It's that gangster. It's that persona.
I owned a couple of CAR small micro 9s, and they were very good guns. You either like the trigger or you don't, but the actual manufacturer of the firearm was top notch. I think they're good company.
Yeah, Auto Ordnance. It's also Thompson.
Sure.
It's Tommy guns.
Look at that, buddy.
Excellent shooting guns. Not the lightest things in the world.
No. So it looks like we're at the SIG booth. Did it ever come up of the struggles and the potential concerns they were having right now with the 320?
Nothing was ever brought up at SIG.
Were people talking about it?
The only person I heard talking about it was me to another one of our reps.
So how'd that go?
He said he used to work for SIG, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that is a super, super hot and controversial topic right now. GBRS group just put out a video defending the whole concept, and that didn't go over so well for them. And, I think it's too bad. And as a responsible sort of gun channel, there's videos out there. People need to make up their own mind. I don't use them in my classes anymore just because I don't want to subject the student or the company to that kind of liability until some more answers are developed. It's something I would just think err on the side of caution and move on.
Right. So
it's Lena.
Yep.
What's she like? She nice? She seems nice.
She is very personable. She's very nice. Her whole family is. Her dad was there also.
Oh, wow. What a treat.
I met him, which may be coming later in the video. Got a hat signed by him.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's Jerry, sort of. That guy had a storied career in firearms, and I wish him well in retirement. I'm sure we'll probably see him around shooting some, but what an amazing story and an amazing life. He's really done a ton for the firearms and actually shooting on video. Been a remarkable run for him. Oh, Colt, look at that. Did you ever think you'd see a red dot on top of a Colt?
No.
I mean, it's been around since the 80s for comp shooters and stuff. I mean, I know people have done it for ages, but still.
Right.
The dot is here to stay, my friends.
So
high quality optical company.
This AimPoint and Glock collab, it's the AimPoint COA.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new mounting for the AimPoint to the Glock. The guy there explained it to me. It's kind of like a ski boot where it clicks in, you put it in the front, goes into the back, and then it's mounted right there at the rear with the two screws, and there's no stress on those screws to shear off like there is when you're mounting the dot straight to the slide.
Interesting design.
And their law enforcement's just jumping on board with it.
Oh, I imagine so. I mean, with the popularity and proven track record of Glock, you have the same exact story with AimPoint. Two very, very high quality companies. Why not get together, right? And law enforcement will be all over that, especially in that fail-safe environment or the no-fail environment that they're in. Why we probably couldn't have two better choices. Makes perfect sense. So I see you were at the Tippmann booth. A few years ago, we were going to buy a Tippmann Gatling 9mm for the range, but COVID killed it. You couldn't get ammo, and nobody was going to spend that much money. But it looks like they've come a long way since.
Yeah, they have multiple lines of Gatling guns. I believe they have an AR-15 line.
Cool. Yeah, we didn't do it, obviously, because of COVID, but yeah, that would have been fun. Do you know, when you were at the Agency Arms booth, their Ronin line, is that something that Tulam helped them with, from Ronin Tactical, or is that just the name they borrowed, if you know it?
I have no clue.
I'll have to do some research on that. I'm a big fan of Tulam and Ronin Tactical. Love that guy. Great spirit. Wow, now we're at my booth, bud.
The Canik Century Arms booth, they will talk to anyone. They're very personable people.
Good. I just think they're hard to beat.
I agree.
I've tortured tested numerous units that they've produced, and they hold up. Fabulous triggers, accurate. Not the type of platform that I will ever be better than it is. Nils Jonasson, Canik's competition shooter. Did you get to talk with him at all?
Yeah, he is just as personable as the guys that work for Century Arms and Canik and Taran himself.
Cool. Yeah. So that's Taran Butler, yeah?
Yep.
What's he like?
He's also a very nice guy. He's very reserved.
Yeah.
But if you get him talking or if he's giving away stuff, he's as nice as they come.
Nice. You didn't see John Wick, did you?
No.
Taran Butler and Canik now have a bit of a business partnership with the TTI, I believe is what
TTI Combat.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So it's just a tricked out Butler kind of accessorized, suggested rival, an enhanced rival, for lack of a better. I've seen them, held them. I've never bought one and never have shot one, but they're interesting.
I shot one. It shoots great. I did prefer the steel better just because of the weight.
Sure.
But
so that was kind of weird. What Canik did there was they started releasing the steel frame version of the rival about the same time they got into the TTI. Yeah, that within a year of one another. So it's almost like they were kind of competing with themselves, which is, far be it for me to question their business model. But I agreed with you. From holding them both, I would have went steel. No offense to Taran Butler. For that kind of money, I would have stayed with the steel.
Now, I did ask if there was any plans in making a new aluminum frame, steel frame, smaller gun, like some other manufacturers have done. And they kind of said no comment. So maybe we'll see something. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Back at Canik. So one question I did ask them about the Prime, which we said in our video of shooting the Prime, that it had a Freedom Smith trigger. It does not have a Freedom Smith trigger.
Ah.
It's their in-house proprietary trigger for that MC9. It's that 90-degree break, flat face, aluminum trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So I did make sure to ask them that.
Either way, it's a fabulous out-of-the-box trigger.
Yes.
For sure. So, Shaun, as the video winds down, did anything debut at the NRA show? Was there, like, a introduction to the world kind of thing going on, or was it not so much? Usually that's done at SHOT Show, but
one thing that I did not get to see, and I didn't find out till after, was High Point released an AR-15.
Oh, wow. Made right here in Ohio.
Very much surprised me.
Nice. Well, Shaun, I'm glad you had a good time at the show. Thanks for shooting all of this footage for us. Hopefully the viewers will kind of enjoy it, looking at some of the booths, and maybe decide to go at some point in the future. It's very affordable, especially if you live close to where they're having it. And I would have found it interesting just to see what the future brings, which is one of the points of these shows, right? You can kind of see the direction that manufacturers are going,
right?
Which is really what makes it an interesting event to attend.
Right. Next year will be in Houston.
Okay, cool.
And hopefully the year after they'll bring it back to Indianapolis, which is not a far drive for people in Ohio.
Of course not. Well, once again, Shaun, thanks for going. And don't be afraid to like and subscribe.